she's a guidance counselor. Yeah.
I can take care of you.
Paper copy is always.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to call the meeting of City of Seaford Mayor and Council to order. The date is Tuesday, July 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd all rise for the invocation by Councilwoman and Dr. Stephanie Grass.
As we gather this evening, let us do so seeking your guidance and clarity as we endeavor in the business of our city. Shape our hearts to be open to the needs of our residents while also sharpening our minds to make the often tough decisions required as city leaders. Let our love for the city and you emulate from all we do and say so that we may serve the city of Seaford in Christian love and spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
If you remain standing for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would be seated. All right. Are there any changes to the agenda for tonight's meeting?
No, sir, there are not.
Okay. There are the minutes for approval from our previous June 24th meeting in your packets there. If there are any questions or comments regarding those minutes, if there are none, I'll set the motion.
Councilman Holland, I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
I have a motion from Councilman Holland. Is there a second?
Councilman Quillen, I'll second.
A second from Councilman Quillen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, they pass unanimously. All right, I'm going to move on to public comment. Is there anyone here this evening for public comment?
No, sir.
All right, I'm going to move over to correspondence.
We have no correspondence, sir.
No correspondence. We'll keep it moving to new business number 1. And on the agenda for tonight's new business is to approve the recommendations of Mayor McCoy for various committee appointments as presented. Now, I have a list of the committees right here. I can read them into the record. And council does have them in their packet. Our Economic Development Committee will be myself as the chair, Councilman and Vice Mayor Dan Henderson, City Manager Charles Anderson, Trisha Newcomer, and Judy Johnson. The Antique Fire Truck Restoration will be Vice Mayor Dan Henderson as chair, Barry Calhoun, Mike Vincent, Randy Obier, John Bortdorf, Larry Mathis, Rick Marvel, Mark Obier, Wayne Rigby, Byron Taylor, and Ron Marvel. The Electric Committee will be our Councilman Mike Bradley serving as chair, Pastor Isaac Ross, Dave Downs, Chris Sims, Charles Anderson, Greg Brook, Jay Waller, and Virginia Gigi Hastings. Our Police Chiefs Advisory Board will consist of our Vice Mayor Dan Henderson as the chair, Debbie Hall, Florence Cephas, Kevin Andrews, Mark Grassett, Pastor Kim McGill, Pastor Tisha Miller, Langela Todd. The Emergency Preparedness Committee will be Mayor Matt McCoy as chair, Charles Anderson, Pat Ryan, Chief Marshal Kraft, Tristan Newcomer, Jack Wilson, Stephen Keller, and Pat Ryan. The Parks and Recreation Committee will be served by our Councilwoman Stephanie Grassett as chair, Charles Anderson, Tristan Newcomer, Katie Hickey, Bobby Holston, Tina Hurley, and Aaron Coase. Planning and Zoning will be chaired by Stacy Spicer, Michael Bailey, Brad Goffman, Mark Grassett, Scott Pickenpaul, Deborah Smart Hall, and Jared Mast. And the Operations Committee will be Councilman Alan Quillen as chair, Burley Mears, Charles Anderson, Chris Derbyshire, and Lindsay Biddle. You presented those names and the committees in your packet. If there are no questions or comments at this time, I'll accept the motion on those committees.
Councilman Holland, Mr. Mayor, I make the motion to approve the recommendations of Mayor Matt McCoy for previous committee appointments as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Holland. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All right, we have a second from Councilman Bradley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is passed unanimously. I just want to thank everybody on council who are serving as leaders on those departments and chairs, and I want to thank everybody who's volunteering their time to serve in those committees. They are vital to this community and this city, so we really appreciate your time and your dedication to the city. All right, if we have no additional new business, we're going to move on to old business number 1.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Old business number 1 is the second reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 6, Article 2 of the Municipal Code of the City of Seaford and the electric rules and regulations of the City of Seaford. And these changes would change the electric delinquent notification and service termination procedures. At the last meeting of council, we did have a public hearing on these changes, and in-depth presentation was given by our credit manager, Kathy Anger. Just to hit the highlights of them again, council has the red line version of the proposed code change in their packet. There is some changes in the general information and billing procedures, address notification. It just outlines it's the responsibility of the customer to notify the City of Seaford if changes in account information occur so that we have the correct information. Additionally, all of these changes are required by a state law that was passed and signed into law by the governor. So we have to have these in an ordinance form and adopted by August 29th of this year. It does go through delinquent notice procedures, when we can do disconnections. They've narrowed the time of that and the days of the week that we are allowed to do that in. We have to enact a third-party notification process. So if you are the account holder and you want someone else, a third party, notified, we have to have a procedure for that, which we do. We have the paperwork for that, and there's language in the code for that. Right of termination, the City of Seaford reserves the right to terminate utility service with minimal notice in the event of a safety-related emergency. So if it's a fire hazard, if there's something related to safety, we still have the right to terminate there. We outline in the new code the changes that are presented, disconnection and termination procedures, avoidance of termination due to illness. So there now is a statement by a medical professional that if you file that with us, we have to not, and electricity is a medical necessity, then there are regulations on how we can terminate you and when we can terminate you, and that notice, if properly filed with us, is good for 120 days, and then it has to be renewed. There is a dispute resolution process, so if a customer has a dispute with their bill, that we outline the process of contacting us, we'll do the research, we'll assist them with that, and then the final arbitration will be the city manager to make the final determination after it's been run through the process with staff, with the customers. And then terminations, there are several events that have been outlined here. There is the, and I want to read the exact language that's in there, but there's two events. It's in the summertime or the heat, and then in the cold, so that we've outlined what a heat event is, and it's a heat index above 93, and then it being in the cold weather event, if the temperature at 8 o'clock in the morning is below 32, then at the Georgetown Airport, then we cannot do disconnects. We do have to give 72 hours notice for disconnects, and again, it can only occur between Monday and Thursday. And if there's a holiday, we have to observe the holiday as well. Just trying to look at any other things that are in here. Sir, that's generally the code change. This would be the second reading. Should council decide to adopt it, the city would advertise it in the newspaper as soon as possible, and then 30 days after advertisement, it would become effective. So if we move it forward this evening, we can make the advertisement and the deadline before the end of August as required.
Okay. Are there any questions from council regarding old business number 1? If there are no questions or comments at this time, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman Bradley, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance to amend Chapter 6, Article 2 of the Municipal Code of Seaford, Delaware, electrical rules and regulations of the City of Seaford that would change electric delinquent notification and service termination procedures as presented.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Bradley. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
We have a second from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. All right, I'm going to move on to the reminder of meetings.
I have none, sir.
All right. I'm going to keep moving to liaison reports. We're going to begin with Code, Parks, and Recreation, and Councilwoman and Dr. Stephanie Grassett.
I will have a very brief report as both of the heads of the departments for which I serve as liaison are on vacation. So wish Mr. Bailey and Ms. Hickey both a wonderful vacation, well deserved. Just a couple of things from Parks and Rec to report on. The slow pitch men's as well as the youth pickleball clinics have concluded. The championship game for men was held on Monday, June 30th. The biggest news, I think, out of Parks and Rec right now is they've had to turn off the online registration for youth flag football after receiving 110 registrations. They have 83 for soccer, but 110 for youth flag football, and they've had to cut that off based on the number of coaches they have. So if there's coaches out there who would like to coach, maybe we could take more than 110, but I think we need those coaches first. And that is all I have to report tonight.
That's awesome. It's great to hear. Thank you, Dr. Grassett. We'll move over to Police and Fire and Vice Mayor Dan Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My report will be abbreviated. I did not receive a report from Chief Wilson in time to incorporate it into this report. However, I will amend the report later and try and get it out to you. It's too late to incorporate it into the meeting minutes, but I will make sure that it gets out to you. So Chief Kraft has submitted his report in his usual format. There's been 5,873 total complaints this year so far, as of July 6th. 1 robbery, 2 homicides, 27 sex crimes, 36 burglaries, 17 burglaries, and 19 thefts from vehicles, 98 drug crimes, 6 overdoses, 2,861 e-tickets, traffic tickets, all traffic tickets, 2,861. All DUIs, 50, 312 crashes, and 186 false alarms. Unfortunately, we're tracking just about even on the level of false alarms. It would be very good if those were reduced, because it takes time away from other things that the officers could be responding to. But it seems to be tracking just about even on the last couple of years. Under all crimes are 125, and you'll see the distribution down through the felonies, misdemeanors, violations, civil, and other for 81% clearance rate. I recall this being lower than the previous period, but still above 80%, which is above average. Moving down, there were 2 drug crimes this period with two adult arrests under traffic. There were 145 traffic contacts and 129 citations and 23 warnings. That doesn't add up, but there must be a couple of others in there that were either verbals or something. 4 DUIs this period, 29 crashes, 1 injury accident, 12 non-reportable, 16 reportable. This is pretty alarming. There were 9 hit-and-run accidents during this period. The chief did mention that it's a new demographic, inexperienced drivers, unfamiliar with rules of the road. So haven't yet devised a plan to address that, but that's something that needs to be addressed for public safety reasons. No bicycle accidents, no motorcycle accidents, 0 pedestrian accidents during this period. You'll see a number of fairly significant events. Well, there's only one significant event that was worth mentioning this time. On June 25th, there was a DUI and disorderly conduct where Seaford PD officers were dispatched to McDonald's for a welfare check on an unconscious female. Officers located a gray Audi occupied by 3 individuals, all showing signs of intoxication. The driver was arrested for DUI after failing field sobriety tests. While assisting the passengers, one identified individual became disorderly with EMS and officers, ultimately assaulting an officer and resisting arrest. A second passenger was also arrested for disorderly conduct after refusing to cooperate and leaving the scene without a ride. They were processed at Seaford PD, and another was committed to the Department of Corrections for $3,700 cash bail. Under administration, you'll see a number of meetings that were attended by leadership. There was some news. They had 5 Seaford Police Department applicant interviews, and some of those were vetted. Some are moving along in the process. So it's hopeful that we may be able to fill vacancies this fall. Under community events, the Food On program is ongoing with many Seaford Police Department officers participating. The Seaford Junior Police Academy was held the 23rd through the 27th. Staff Sergeant Lorian, Master Corporal SRO Wingate, and multiple department officers made this event a huge success. To my lament, I was not able to attend the graduation, which was attended by Governor Matt Meyer. We thank him for his attendance at the graduation ceremony that was held at the high school. On July 5th, Seaford Police Department assisted Rehoboth Police Department for their fireworks event. Lieutenant Horn, Corporal Matthews, and Cadet Genshaw. Under training, the Spear Team training is ongoing for twice a month by their team members, and there was department-wide training on evidence collection and packaging that was presented by Lieutenant Horn. And that concludes my report for this period.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm going to move over to administration and Councilman Orlando Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An inspection was held at Cross Christian Academy concerning the water, sewer, and electric. And they attended Bill Bennett's retirement luncheon and Representative Dan Short's coffee meeting. And they had an on-site meeting with Merrifield developer to discuss issues concerning the community pool and HOA management. And they attended the Youth Academy graduation at the Seaford High School along with council members and the city manager. And the issues with long-distance phone lines has been resolved, and they attended various other meetings and events, and all the work was routine. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Going to move over to electric and Councilman Mike Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's been installation of solar light poles at Oyster House Park. Scout and I have seen the results, and one of the solar panels was out, and they received the replacement today, and it was supposed to be installed. Now, Mike Yelverton, okay. And Chris Andrews completed Lab 1 of the lineman training at DEMEC. Logan Price was recommended to skip pre-apprentice training and move to Lab 1. They've done vine cleanup from various poles and lines throughout the city. There was a 24-minute interruption during the past 2 weeks, and I'm being a little redundant, during the, because of the roasted turkey. They replaced CTs in the transformer at Cross Christian Church, street lamps installed at Muirfield and Bel Air. Bel Air is nearing completion. Replaced a transformer on Rush Street. A pole and capacitor bank on Norman Eskridge Highway had to be replaced due to a lightning strike which was severe. Our director, Greg Brook, attended an open house at, I can't read my own writing, this is a shame. Wesco in Smyrna. Met with Habitat about the property on Hurley. Greg also met with various others in regards to power issues involving invoices and other concerns, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. And last but not least, Public Works and Wastewater Treatment Facility, and Councilman Alan Quillen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that. I'll start off with Public Works. Replace fire hydrant at the shop. Perform equipment maintenance. Installed install valve on water main on Atlanta Road. Assisted with hydrant flow test on Porter Street. Had sinkhole repair on Conwell, which was due to a broken sewer lateral at Main. Love Inc.'s parking lot is completed, paved and striped. Performed all routine tasks during the 2 weeks, and have multiple employees on vacation. Wastewater treatment plant facility. Plant looks fantastic. And the dewatering, the blend tank seeing high temperatures, but not much foam, so we're doing good there as well. Failed water solenoid valve on sludge thickener, ordered replacement. Working on discharge monitoring report quality assurance, which is a DMRQA. It was at study samples, and that is an annual test that has to be a test to cross-check the lab performances and practices to ensure testing is being done correctly. Gearing up for parasitic acid, the PAA trial. Plan is to begin on July 8th. Drained and shocked both of the sand filters in prep for a PAA trial since chlorine to filters will be suspended during that trial period. Installed manual backwash switch on water filter to replace non-functional button to keypad. And flow equalization number 3, the FE3 and the EQ pump 1 tripping. Plan to call for evaluation on the week of July 7th. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. I want to congratulate Bill Bennett once again on his retirement. According to what I saw on social media yesterday, it looks like he's the new Chick-fil-A spokesperson. It's an interesting transition. Life comes at you fast, I guess. All right, well, I appreciate everybody's time this evening. If there are no additional orders to go over, at this time, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Councilman Quillen, also moved.
Have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second from Vice Mayor Henderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it's unanimous.
Go home.